Hello, my name is Mauricio Garcia, and in this episode I will be creating some particles animation procedurally in Bifrost for Maya, kind of a fake fluid, but it's just particles that they're going to be affected by a turbulence influence and some gravity only. Let's do it. We can start adding a basic vertical graph. We're going to explode it, and then we can change already the first frame. I will need two cubes. The first one that is going to be the emitter, and this one is going to be a little bit small, 4.5. Let's go 9.5 and 0.3. We're going to rise it a little bit as well. There you have it. So it's going to be better. We can see as well this. I'll change the base to pivot so it's on top of the ground, and this will be the emitter. We can just copy paste this one here. So let's go with 5, 10, and this one. This is gonna be the container. We're gonna scatter some points. Now we're gonna allow this maybe to 100 for now, just to check. Let's hide the geometry and show the particles, and at the moment they have gravity only, so we're gonna zero out for now the speed, and I can start adding a body source. Here this body source is gonna be in charge of the size first. Modify a little bit the source with between 0.05 and 0.1 maybe. We have some random size going on here. We could add 1,000 particles, or what we could do is we can create here 1,000 points and then just do the source to pass through. So all the points are going to just pass through the scatter points that we have here. We'll change this to blue noise to have a more uniform distribution. We can take a look now. There's a lot of particles, so we're going to cut the end frame to the first frame as well. So we're gonna create some particles and leave them made only forever. At this moment we could add some color already, so let's go here and create a color property. This will allow add a single color, but we want to randomize a little bit. We can just add another body source property, and this one we're gonna change to point color, which should be the same property here, so we can update this to point color. And the values here is gonna be a reddish color, so let's change this to a method 3 and a method 3 only. So now we can modify a little bit these values. Let's go with a 0.2 and maybe a 0.8, 0.1 and 0.1, and will be good as well. We go check the colors right now. So we'll assign a materials. This is one of my nodes. Nothing special here, just know that it's gonna pass the point color immediately. Yeah, it looks a little bit randomly. Looks good. So let's add now the collider to our simulation, and let's change the start frame as well. So to animate it, we're gonna animate a turbulence influence. And this one we can just go and plug it directly into the influence. And for the values, I could go really start with an 8, 8, and 8, I suppose. And 1 for now. Let's try that. Will be good as well to create a camera. So we can go here, just match rotation and translation, middle click, grab it so we can see through the camera already. Something like that will be okay. We can see we have some turbulence going on, so we're gonna have to up the turbulence by a lot. Turbulence we can go maybe up 12, frequency of 2, and change rate of half of it only. Maybe start seeing some circles here, maybe a little bit more. And of course I need to maybe add here more particles. So yeah, that looks a little bit better. There's turbulence going everywhere. Let me check if we need some stuff here. viscosity, levelity, and we can have cell collision. It's gonna change a little bit, and as well spin and collision. So yeah, it looks a little bit better. From here we're gonna have to add just a lot more particles. And let me add here a cache node, so you can just go here and cache this. So for now we're gonna have, let's say 10,000 particles. I like to lower a little bit the size of the multiplier to 0.8. This looks a little bit better. Let's cache this. I'll be back in a moment. There you have it. So now we can play maybe in real time. And it looks like, it looks okay. So now we could add the little logo, so we can change the beginning, the color at the beginning of the emission before the deformation happens. So for that, I will be using SVG file. So we go here and create an SVG file. We have all the options that appear here. We can go to the SVG here and we can paste. So what I simply do is over here online, I found this logo. I can just copy to the clipboard this file, and then you can just come here and say paste. And you pay attention here, this will update everything accordingly. There you have it. Now we have the logo here. It was easy. This is the way to do it. From there, something I want to do is I want to remove the color display. There is a color set here we can delete. We can stay with the normal gray. From there, I think that it's a little bit big at the moment, so let's do it with a -90, and we can scale it first and then move it a little bit somewhere here. That seems okay for now. Go to the perspective, and now here we can just go a little bit bigger, so we're sure that we encompass everything inside. Yeah, there you have it. So now we're going to have some problems with these little holes here in the geometry, but I hope it's not going to be so noticeable, or I will edit. I will do a quick edit. Maybe rename Geo Maya logo, then middle click and drag, and here we have it. What we're going to need is the tag, all the points that are inside this geometry. So for that we have a tag inside, I think, yes, in geometry. For that we'll be adding the particles first. So this moment will be these guys, and on the geometry will be the M that we did create just a moment ago. And we can take a look already here. So what we have, let's hide this geometry, and we can see here that we have something already tagged inside. So all these points we can get the indices just by asking for the find all true in array. So we're gonna plug that here, and from there we can just say we're gonna set in array these indices with a different color. So for now we can just go and say have a bluish. Maybe I can add just an RGB. It's gonna be easier for me. Check the color, something similar to the Maya logo, so we can have some contrast as well with the red in the background. So we'll get the geo property, get the color property actually, and let me do something here. Let's cut this. Let's just go directly here. This guy like 2000, maybe 2000 particles will be good enough to try this. Sorry, this is super small. So now we can see a little bit what we have, so in real time. So nice. So let's ask for the point color here, From there, we're now gonna connect this in the set in array, and then we're gonna set view property, which is gonna be the point color. We're gonna set all this data here, and we're gonna take this output here. All this we can just plug now in the material, so we can take a look. Now we have a problem here. Looks like we're not changing here the type. Give us this error because it's a flood at the moment, so we have to go to matplotlib tree and we have back our colors, and that will be it, I think, for this. We can just play now. Now we have more or less the effect that we want. The only problem is that every point or every particle that is passing inside the geometry, the M from the logo, it will take the color blue. So what we want is just the first frame to do that. So for that we can just add here a computing frame. And we're gonna say that we want just to compute the first frame, which in this case is 1001, and that should be it. I think we can as well hide this tag display, and now we have that. Now we can just go and watch this from the beginning. Now we have the effects, or the color effects that we need. It will be a matter of just adding 10,000 or 20,000 particles and see how it looks. So for that we go back again here, we enable the preview in the last node, go back to the first frame, flush this guy, and now let's go this time with 16,000. 16,000. And there you have it. Have these little lines here because there's the holes in the M in Maya, so maybe I will be editing that. I will be closing this geometry, so I'll be back in a moment with the geometry. Okay, so here what I did, I just duplicated the geometry where we had this and just did a quick edit, standard vertex collapse, merging. Now there's no holes. Now we will be updating this model here. It's easy as a plug and play here. With that I think we're done for the geo. Now we have a clear M there. From here let's go to the camera and let's cache this. I'll be back in a moment after the cache is done. Time for a coffee break. Okay, I'm back here, and right now everything is cached. Even if we play the animation to the max rate, it's gonna be super fast. And now in real time, this is how it looks. And there you have it. Now what I will change maybe is the camera is a little bit too close. It's too much in your face. So something like that will be better. Just lock this camera there and add a couple of lights or something like that, Let's add simple studio light so we can check now under the lighting. For that as well I will go down a little bit the values here, maybe a 0.5 only for this, and add a little directional light. Let's see. Okay, let's turn it this way, so let's go on -40, maybe 140. Yeah, will be okay. And with that we can just go here, get this to the final, it on and let's check how the rendering looks in full screen. Should be fast. Yeah, it's okay. A little bit more light. This guy, we don't see it, so yeah, I think that something like that will do it. Even more, I would like maybe a 6. This guy's already 0.5, so if we turn it off, this is the ambient light and this is the direct lighting. It's a little bit strong, but yeah, it's okay, I think. That will be. Okay, let's check another frame, the beginning. Yeah, at the moment as well, they're a little bit penetrating, but well, I choose the first frame, maybe. Yeah, I like something like that, but maybe we can start this frame. Looks a little bit more organic. So let's stop this for a moment. Oh no, this is too much light here. There's nothing else to do other than maybe change a little bit the material. Maybe a little bit more reflection. So let's have this guy here for a moment. Let's go render this and maybe change this to a little bit of specularity, maybe 1. Too much, maybe 0.6, and maybe here 0.2, just to break a little bit these specs. Yeah, something like that will be okay. I think that's enough for a little render pass. And on that, I should be saving all these guys. Let's save this as particle quick particle name. Let's add a version here, and that's it. Lucky for me, it didn't crash. So the only thing will be for me to check the quality of the render here. We can just go here and add a little bit extra. Maybe 10. I render with GPU, so it's relatively fast. It's gonna take 10 seconds maybe per image in a full HD, so it's not the greatest render in nature, but it's just to see the effect. And that's it. Now we can recache and even render directly. Maybe cache to the disk instead of the memory, and then just render. To render as well, I should prepare everything. So I have a render setting here. Boom. Everything is ready to go. Only the camera we need to change here. Save again, and I will send this to render, and I will see you a little bit later to talk about it. So to recap, before I go, this is the graph. Like that graph is not big or complex at all. Some minor tricks that I did to find a better animation, turbulence for the number of particles that I have now. So I changed it a little bit, so I will go in detail for all the presets or all the values that I use in the notes here. So let's check this from the beginning. So let's go out of here. I did start with a couple of cubes here, so 1, who's going to be the emitter and one is going to be the collider. So I have a small one and a big one here and here. From there, from the small one, from the emitter, I add a scatter points. I did scatter 12,000 in this version. Blue noise, so the distribution is a little bit better, you know, for the first frame. So now we can go and show this. The distribution is a little bit better now. I did not use a volume, I just scatter on the surface. It seems to work for this exercise, for this anime. It's simple. From there I add some variation for the size at the beginning already. And the size is 0.05 and 0.1, then I leave it the multiplier at 0.8. Add some color, kind of random, a reddish and a less reddish color. Obviously I had to add the color property here. That's very simple. If you don't have it, you just have to right click here and add color property, rename it to the point color. Is kind of the standard name that Bifrost use now. Same here, this has to be the same name that the property. From there we go to the particles, start frame 1001, finish at 1001, pass through, because I want to use the positions of every point, the scatter points, so I'm going to just pass through. If I go here with 100 points, I will emit only 100 points here in the particles. So at the moment I am emitting 12,000 at frame 1001, and that's it. Other options here, I took out the speed, the inner velocity as well. The animation was a little bit nicer. We used the turbulence. The size doesn't matter because we're modifying it here, and they live forever, the particles. So to that I add the collider as well, so the big cube that I have here. I just modify the start frame obviously, and the bounciness and the friction, 0 friction and 0.4 in bounciness. The turbulence, the final values there, 15, 2 and 4, and that's the only influence that is moving this or doing this animation actually. Seems good enough for me. The settings in the particles, they're going to be just, I think I add the self collision and the spin off collision. That is just the particles. So this part, just the particles name, and from there the rest is just colors. So first of all, I find the points that are inside the geometry, the M geometry. From there I just take them, set in an array a different color, which is here, this blue, similar to the Maya logo. To apply, I just got the point color, and then set in array just the points that I wanted to change the color. Freeze that first frame or cache, you know, the first frame. Otherwise, every point that it will be passing through here will change the color to blue. Then set that new color, and something that I did an extra should be here by speed. Modify color, let's say set intensity by speed. So everything that I'm doing here is taking the velocity of the particles. Oh, let's go inside a little bit. It's a little bit messy, this one. I took the property here, took the velocity. From that velocity, I just measure the distance from 0 to the velocity. That will give me float value that is going to be maybe between 0 and I don't know, 0 and 4, I think in this case. I added a couple of things here, so because I know that the max velocity was 4.5 or something like that, I manually added here in the change range, I manually added 0 to 4 and 0.4 to 0.6 to modify the intensity of the color. Reapply this new color with this new intensity that is modified by the speed of the particle. So the faster they go, the color is going to be a little bit more intense. So it's not very strong, but we can see it a little bit here, maybe how the red are becoming a little bit lighter and the corners are a little bit dark because they're slow. Just a little variation, no much. From there, assign the color, the material. There's a simple node that I have where it's a standard surface inside. What I do is just apply the CGU property of preference. If active, I will get the colors from the point color property. And that's it. Assign the material and go from there. And then cache it. Memory cache, so I can just play in real time or even faster. So then I just send it to render and we have here the final result. It's a basic lighting, it's nothing crazy, but it does the trick. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like the video, and see you in the next one. Bye.